Anybody else make the same mistake as me? So this specific U-joint and that specific U-joint, I cannot grease them with the lock and lube attachment on the grease gun. And it has really gotten to a point where it aggravates me. But what I've done is, since this one's a quick release, like a 540, I just push that in, pop it off, and then, move these around so that I can put the grease gun on there and get that done. But I wish Lock and Lube would have, maybe said something like, hey, this won't quite fit in some spots. Or maybe they have an attachment that does. But I know that generation, I think that's the first generation Lock and Lube piece. And it definitely don't. It's kind of bulky. You may wonder that, hey, we had that shop and we built it to get all this stuff done in the wintertime and everything, right? Well, the reason we just really didn't do much this winter is because we did all this stuff. We greased everything before we put it away. That's why, I don't know if you noticed when I was greasing, there's literally just a few pumps in each bearing, and we kind of stopped because it was already coming out. Now, the exception to this rule is tires, and that is the one thing that you can never quite get a hold of. So I did replace a tube on these. I have an extra one. I don't think this one's low, but if you look at it from this side, it looks low. But if you look at it from this side, it doesn't. And I think it's just because of the simple fact that the ground is obviously higher on one side than it is on the other. This one has a bad tire though, and we are gonna have to address it. And this is just because it sat in the grass and obviously is just hard on it. So we're gonna fix that up. Just kidding, we're not fixing that tire right now. They don't have one in stock, so they ordered one for us. And then we'll grab that and we'll switch those out. Problem solved. All right, it's all hooked up to the 180. We're just coming back here. We're gonna release these locks, the hydraulic cylinder locks, or whatever you wish to call them. There we go. Now that's all taken care of. We're gonna swing this out. So the newer ones have a hydraulic cylinder that does this. This one obviously doesn't. So all we do is this. Now that that's ready, this is able to be set down. We'll set it down and we'll get it to swing out, and then we'll lift it back up, lock it in place, and turn the old PTO on. Now, if I had that rope set up to where I just pull it, yeah, I'd be able to do it without getting off the seat. But I don't, so here we are. Oh, perfect, line right up with the hole too. Well, that never happens. We're not gonna turn this full speed until we go back here and just kind of check everything over, make sure nothing seems out of whack. Looks like it's all turning, that's good. That's about how it normally sounds. It's kind of loud. I blame the helical gear set. I mean, because it's gear on gear meshing, and it's just how it is. Overall, it looks like it cut just fine, and it looks relatively even. It is a lot harder to tell on this because this grass is not very tall. This is only about 5 inches tall, maybe. It's not much to cut with, really. But we go down here, we can see we're definitely stripping right here, which might be because of how short you're kind of in the waist boot here. And we're stripping right there too, so we're gonna have to look at some stuff. Might have some blades that just need replaced, is my guess. That looks much better. So I guess it was because that grass was short enough that maybe some of it was just, the wind from the blades moving was pushing it over. I'm not exactly sure, but looks much better in here. Well, on camera it's probably gonna look like there's some strips missed, but it's really not actually missed. I walked through and pushed it around. It's actually just the seed heads sticking up from what was cut and tossed around. There's really only one more thing that I want to get done specifically for hay season, and it actually has to do with this rake. Now, you can see that this wheel is not bad. It's got a couple of tines that are bent out, but overall, they are all pretty well in line with the actual center of the wheel. But as you go farther back, you can see that these ones, they're catching more and they're pushing more hay, and they are bent more and more. And then when you get back here, they're all bent back like so. Now, I want to try something. I don't know if it's the right answer or not, but I'm going to give it a whirl. I'm going to take this wheel off on this side right here and flip it to that side. I'm going to do the same thing for all of these. I'm just going to flip sides on them. Now, the only thing that I've really noticed is that on the back of these, so right here you can see that the back is all smooth. There's no bolts sticking out, and it makes it very difficult for anything to catch on this portion of the wheel. But if you look at this side of it, it has lots of bolts sticking out, and it's actually got a little lip that sticks out right here as well. I don't know if it's going to cause a problem and make a bunch of hay stick to it or not, so I'm going to try it. If it does, it's pretty easy to switch these back. There's 6 bolts, I think. Yeah, 6 bolts on each one, and we can just flop them back over. And just like that, that's all done. You can probably tell a lot of time has elapsed since we did this. And they're all flipped around. So as we're driving forward, right, these are going to be grabbing hay, and that weight of the hay and these dragging across the ground will start pulling them backwards. And maybe that'll straighten them out some. We do need to go back through here yet and replace a couple that are actually just completely missing the teeth. That's simple. And we also just have a couple of things to do on this tractor to make sure it's completely ready to go. I want to change the final drive gear oil just to ensure that, one, it's got the appropriate level, because it's a little loud in 4th gear. And then the other reason is because I don't know when it's ever been changed, if it's ever been changed. And the hydraulic fluid reservoir, I want to drain all of it and put new fluid in. It's not like saturated with water, but you can tell that there is some water, there's some moisture in there. Problem with these is that when they sit outside, this doesn't really seal water out, and it allows moisture to seep through there. And then same thing with this, if you don't have it all the way tight, water will pool under here and it'll get in there too. So minor things, and then we need to weld this up right here on the front axle, and we are ready to go. This should be pretty simple to pull back together. I can move it pretty good with my hands. But hay season's not far away. Our one hindrance is going to be getting my truck back in time for hay season. Torque converter went out, and well, it won't move without that sometimes. Well, actually, it won't go forward at all. It will go in reverse, which is kind of odd. But anyways, the timeline for that, I don't know. I'm hoping we have it back in time, but if not, we'll make do. Nothing else, we'll make hay, and we'll leave it in the field for a little bit until we get the truck back and we can move it. So thanks for watching. Have a blessed week. We'll see you next time.